Marianne,
Yeah.
I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
Right? And who the heck are all these people?
You can wave back at us. Yay.
Buckle up. It's time for Kewanee Memory Lane. Brought to you live in front of a studio audience. Now here's your host, Marianne and Lee.
Hi, I'm Marianne.
And I'm LeeAnn. Welcome to this episode of Kewanee Memory Lane.
Hey, did you notice anything different about our location?
Yeah, we're not at the museum, are we?
No, and we're not alone. This episode's being aired live, and you know what that means.
No cursing,
No giggling.
no crying.
Well, that we have a whole bunch of people that we can interact and talk to.
Okay, well, before we get started, we do have a artifact, show and tell. I don't know if anybody, can everybody see where we are sitting, but this is a match to our desk overlooking beautiful downtown Kewanee from the second floor of the Historical Society Museum, and it is a desk from the library here, and it matches our desk
that we broadcast from.
Yeah, 1906. Is that what we said?
Feel like we're home, but we're not home.
Right,
So yeah,
right.
And it is weird to have an audience, but we're so happy and excited to do this.
Yeah, and John is actually sitting behind a desk. I don't know what it was used for, but it was also part of the set.
Yeah.
That we got part of. So,
and we thought we would do something different. Have a game called Hiding in Plain Sight.
ta-da!
So I don't know if any of you have ever driven around Kewanee and say to yourself, I've never noticed that before. So we got to talking and we were like, hey. So we ran around and took 30 pictures of random Kewanee things.
Yeah.
And
I learned a whole bunch of stuff.
So did I.
Yeah.
So we're going to share what we learned, and maybe some of you guys have some information to share with the rest of the people listening.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to show a picture on the screen and give you a minute to decide where in Kewanee it is or what it is a picture of, and then raise your hand, and our Sally Jessie Raphael, which is Kit Lehman, she is going to be bringing a mic around, and she will have you talk, and if you have any
information
stories,
you'd like to share, please share.
Please do it.
That's how we learn.
Yeah, and none of these answers will be a deep dive, so don't try to hit us up for a deep dive answer, because
usually when we do an episode, it's about that one subject. It's really a deep dive, but this is just kind of we're kind of doing maybe 10 or
so there's going to be 10 pictures.
We're kind of glossing, accurate information, but just
yes, maybe some of these will probably not maybe
a shallow dive. I like that.
I like that song. Anyway, don't shallow dive. You'll hit your head.
That's a song.
Shallow.
Oh, okay.
Star is Born,
sorry,
Lady Gaga.
Guys.
Sorry.
Okay.
I would sing, but I've been told not to.
Oh.
Okay. So, first picture. See if I can not screw this up. Ta-da! Does anybody know what that is? Don't all of you raise your hands.
We need a volunteer, or I'll tell you.
Bill? Bill is one of our board members of the Historical Society, and he does not know these pictures. So Bill says he knows. Here comes the microphone.
Hello. It's a picture of the front of the Boss Manufacturing Company office building.
Right. You are correct. Yay! So, Boss Manufacturing Headquarters, 221 West 1st. Can you see that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. 221 West 1st Street. So here's some other pictures of it from the 70s and an artist drawing of the Boss headquarters. Boss was started in 1887, and it was started as the H.H. Perkins Husker Company, and H.H. Perkins started making the husking pins that Boss is so famous for. In 1893, he had a board of directors, and H.H. Perkins did not really like where the company was going, so it was reorganized as Boss, and one of the directors was Mr. Lyman from Lyman and Leigh.
Okay.
So he had the big department store, and he noticed that farm wives were coming in to buy a whole bunch of cotton, the special cotton fabric to make work gloves for their husbands.
Oh, okay.
So he thought, well, heck.
I can make some money off of
Yeah,
this.
we can make some money. We could make those gloves. So that's how the Boss Gloves was started in 1893. And then in 1914, and they started out on Boss Street, go figure, out by the boiler. And in 1914, the administration moved from tight quarters on Boss Street to West First. And this building was touted as a model of convenience with fireproof construction. Do we know what fireproof construction means? Yes, it's concrete and block and stuff.
Many layers.
Many layers. Yes. So if you watch our fire episode, yeah,
You'll learn more. Okay. Okay.
Okay, we've been told to go to the next one.
Sorry.
Goodness. Okay. What is this? Anybody? Spencer. That's my son. My husband is in the audience, but he can't tell because he's the one that introduced this to me. And then Marianne didn't know about this one.
No, I did not, but I enjoyed researching it.
Yeah. Anybody? Other than Rob? Okay. The Standard Station and Goods Furniture, 100 block East 2nd Street. And Marianne, tell them where we got the picture.
So we were eating tacos one day. Of
No
course.
way.
I know. At Ronnie's on East 2nd. And they went up into their apartment and took a picture from a higher vantage point for us so that we could get this picture and share it with you guys. Because when you're street level, it is harder to see. But I learned when I was researching this, that's the newer part that was built in 1960. But prior to that, in 1915, the Standard Oil Service Company, they sent some executives here to see if Kewanee would be a good place to start a gas station. They're like, oh my gosh, they're getting a new railway station. They're building a new hotel. This is an up and coming.
I'm sorry, what year was this?
1915.
1915, okay.
So they did build 1915, 1916, and it survived at least until 1975. So it was used for a good 60 years.
Okay.
I just want to name some of the people that ran it over the years. Tumbleson, Del Skoogland, Bob Van Deerendonk, Tiny Hapner, Carl Leaf, and then it changed into Amoco at one point, but they decided, enough's enough. They got out of Amoco, pulled out of that station, and Goods bought it in 1978, and they built their, well, not the pumps, because the pumps were more west of this, as you can see in the picture. They took out the pumps, but they left the original bathrooms in the gas station, don't know why, and they built the furniture store addition around that. And recently I went there without a tour guide. I was trying to figure it out, and it was close to closing, so I didn't stay.
Did you see the bathrooms?
No, couldn't find them. I'm
Okay.
going to go back.
I know they're there because my husband used to get his hair cut
At Bob's.
at Bob Gardner's, and in Bob Gardner's was the most east
Part of that, yeah.
roller up door was
Okay.
how you could get into
Well,
the
I'll
and then the
also-
bathrooms were there
Okay,
too. Yeah.
okay. So,
Yeah.
so
That is way
I'll learn
cool.
more later, but it was fun. It's just hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Go figure.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's weird that the cupola is still there, which they don't need that there.
No,
I just think it's cool that they left that.
I'm going to talk to somebody. When I did talk, I did find somebody. They were very helpful, but that time, it was getting late in the day, and I thought I better get out of here.
Okay.
So
Okay, this one. We know what it is, but where is it?
Yes, audience member.
It's on the Historical Society building.
It sure is. So in 2013, The Wall Dogs came and painted 15 murals, sorry. 15 murals around town, and it was a whole to-do. We had some painters staying with us, and it was fun, and yeah, the town came together, fed them all, and gave them places to stay, and it was so much fun. So the industry mural is the Kewanee Boiler mural, and it is housed on the building, well, the Maxwell building is what we usually call it, which is currently housing the Kewanee Historical Society. And so in 2020, what were you doing during the pandemic in the fall, Marianne? Do you remember?
No.
You were moving the Historical Society.
Oh, yeah.
We moved in 2020.
It took us months to unpack and set up.
Oh my gosh,
it was worth it.
That was the one good thing about the pandemonium, is that we had lots of time to pack.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And we acquired the building from St. Francis. St. Francis?
Well, I thought it was
OSF.
Kewanee Hospital before it changed over, or was it when it was OSF? It would have been OSF.
It was OSF.
I don't know. That's not. I wasn't ready for that part of the test. Sorry.
So we acquired it from OSF because Kewanee Hospital had it previously, and then OSF had it. So we acquired it, and we moved there in 2020, and we love it there. Yeah, lots of room, lots of displays, lots of everything.
Yeah, we have a lot of neat things to see. We have 3.5 floors, so you have to come see us sometime.
Yeah, and we're in the middle of the season, so we are open Thursdays and Saturdays 1 to 4 or by appointment. So yeah, if you need to call, there's a phone number on our website, which is Kewanee-history.com. So, okay, next one. Oops, that one. Oh, we have a new person.
Isn't that out at Northeast Park, the pool house?
It sure is.
I hung out there a lot in my youth.
The old pool house at Northeast Park, East 11th Street. So, here's some pictures of it through the years.
It was beautiful, Olympic-sized pool, and it used to have stairs going down. You'll probably say that.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Sorry.
No. So in the early 1920s, Northeast Park was the site of, you've been working on this.
Oh, coal mining in the brickyard. Yes.
Kewanee,
well, just a little bit of research. Yeah.
Kewanee Mining and Manufacturing Company owned Northeast Park. And in 1919, E.E. Baker donated $50,000 to start the Kewanee Park District. And the original bathhouse in Kewanee was built in 1931, and it cost $45,000.
Wow.
So currently, the main section is still standing, and it is used for parties as a small room. It's got bathrooms in it and stuff like that. So we use it for Girl Scouts all the time. So
I just remember, like, you could go up there and take a break from swimming, and there was like a staircase coming down each side.
Oh,
you
really?
could go up and down. There was a locker room for boys or girls, and in the middle, before you go out to the pool, that's where the lifeguards had a cage, and they had their office there. I don't know, it was just really neat, really cool.
Did you have baskets to put your clothes in? We used to have baskets. Yes?
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Marcy Carlson says that yes, that had baskets.
By my time, it was kind of like keep your stuff by and hope it doesn't disappear.
Oh,
you know?
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody? Bill just gets around.
It's part of the old Star Curter building.
Yes, it sure is.
So I know the newspaper was around in town in 1908. This building was finished. It was a 3-story building. and then a basement too. But I think the Star Courier people, they were like, we need to have this big new building. It's going to be great. They had their printing presses in the basement. You could stand on the sidewalk on the south side as you're looking on the south side there and watch the presses go. Kewanee back then was a really happening place. It was finished June 9th, 1908, and the day they opened it for inspection, about 4,000 people went through it to see it, which I
can't imagine that.
I just can't imagine that. I don't know if they served refreshments. That was not part of what I found in my research.
I would go if they served refreshments, but I wouldn't fight 4,000 people to.
No. But it was a big thing for the
Oh,
community, and
yeah.
it's still standing. It's a beautiful building. I know at one point the Kewanee Business College was in the upper level. Right now there's a yoga studio in the lower level, or the main level. There's apartments in the second floor. In a future episode, we may go to the Kewanee Business College in the upper level, so we can give you guys a peek at that.
I understand that it's like one that they had like the graduations and stuff on that third floor, and it's one big open area with the
really
stage
neat.
and stuff
It's
like
really
that.
neat.
Yeah.
So, but then in the mid 50s, they said, "Hey, we want this nice new swanky one-floor air-conditioned building," and it was finished at Central Boulevard and Main Street in 1957, and that building is still standing, but it's no longer the Star Courier. So, yeah, good job, guys.
So I took this picture, and I think it's one of the prettiest things.
Yeah. But when you...
And I hid myself very well in the middle of those doors.
Yeah, you did. Impressive. I think Susan might know what it is.
Isn't it the mausoleum at Pleasant View Cemetery?
It is. It's... When you look at it from that, it's kind of creepy.
There, it's pretty.
It's pretty. There's some stained glass there, but you guys are like, why in the heck is she wanting to show this building? I don't know. We just thought it was kind of interesting. It's hidden in plain sight. Some people don't even notice it. There were families in Kewanee like E.E. Baker and Pierce's. They had their own tiny mausoleums, and this is a big one, and it has different wings. We've got the plans to it, and so this came about in 1926. The Kewanee Mausoleum Company approached the city and said, we would like to buy some of this land in your cemetery, 1925, 1926 time, and we want to let people purchase a spot to bury their loved ones, okay? So they promoted it as a civilized way to care for your dead. And I have a quote from the May 8th, 1926 Star Courier that reads, "Those who like better things can now secure space in the new Pleasant View Abbey." So it's either called a mausoleum or an abbey. I thought that was weird. Okay. So I have to say my mother's father, my grandfather, he was a cemetery worker up until probably the mid 60s. He used to dig graves, maybe late 50s, I can't remember. Okay. It doesn't matter. But he also worked in there, and there's a basement in there.
Why would they need a basement?
I don't know. But they used to say maybe some liquids might have dripped down into the basement. I just had to say it. What? But any comments? Questions?
Well, I'm sure everything has changed. We would hope.
I would hope so. The mausoleum, when it was open, they left it open every night until 9 p.m. Around Christmas time, 1926, when it was finished, they were letting people tour it in the middle of the winter. Just look at this. This is great. I can't imagine leaving that open until 9 every night now. That's not even a thing. It's like Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and that's about it, or by appointment. So.
I wonder, is it full?
I don't know. No. I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, that could hold a lot of
bodies.
People. Yeah, bodies.
So that's our part of this. Sorry.
I think that's a great story.
Yeah. My mom, she always liked to talk about Grandpa's work at the cemetery.
I dig dead people.
And she said graves are not really 6 feet under, so. They're not. They're like 3 feet. Anyway.
We're getting another signal from John. So, this one's pretty easy. Rob, what is this?
I can't even make out what it looks like. It looks like a dog.
It could be a dog. Do you know what it is? Oh, good.
Does Amanda know what it is?
It's the hog, right?
Where is it located?
Is it? Yeah, Marianne Park.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, good.
Count Henry,
We drive by Count Henry all the time.
also known as the pig in the castle. So, in 1980, and actually, I might have to do a deep dive into this dang pig
Really?
because it is hilarious. Well, I'm sure at the time
It wasn't funny.
hilarious, but
You wouldn't believe the stuff we find out when we're
he's
researching stuff.
he's had a whole thing. So the first 1980, the first concrete hog is placed in front of City Hall, and City Hall was Library Hall. You know, so it was, you know,
Tremont and Third.
Tremont and Third, and it was like 10 yards to
Okay.
the east.
Okay. Okay.
2 months later, it was stolen,
Wow.
and that's poor Count Henry there at the top from the Star Courier.
he's laying on his side.
Yes, it was stolen and dragged through the Kewanee streets from the back of a pickup truck
Why?
because people are stupid.
But like, did they ever find out who the perpetrators
Oh, yeah,
were?
they
We
knew.
don't need to name them here.
No, I don't.
but
I didn't write them
don't
down,
wanna-
but yes,
I don't want to do that.
Yes,
but-
they knew who it was.
Okay, you can tell me later.
Well, they had to go get a new one. They had to pay for a new one.
Oh,
So this is the Count Henry Part 2.
Count Henry Part 2. Okay.
So, was it the dose?
Okay.
Count Henry the dose. A new one was procured, and volunteers built a palace fit for a king to help it not get stolen again from Dave Clark. And
So you mean that little house there is going to protect it from getting stolen?
well,
again?
it's concreted in to
'Cause
that.
if you
little
really
house.
wanted to, you could.
I
I'm not saying
think-
we're going to do. I'm not saying we're going to do it. I didn't say that.
We got people.
We got people. Now, if it disappears, Marianne did not say.
I
"Go
didn't
do
say that
this."
either.
I did not
I
say
did not
this.
say
I
to
was
try.
Just saying,
No.
I'm just saying.
So, but what's even funnier is when they were putting I think I may be getting this. No, that's right. When they were putting this pig into the castle,
Yeah.
an ear fell off.
Oh.
And then,
How? Because his.
well, because somebody probably picked it up by the ear, you know. And so they glued it back on backwards.
Is it on backwards?
No, not anymore because somebody else
Fixed
ripped it off and put it back.
What do we have against this poor pig?
Exactly. And so I went up there I went to investigate. And yes, you can see like
The
mesh that they used to fix his
Oh.
ear. Yeah.
Poor Count Henry.
I know, right? The poor thing.
It is Count Henry, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this other picture is, I don't know if anybody remembers Bud Opperly. I just like that picture of him. Very bearded. Mm-hmm. And Chubb Holton and Betty Pillen.
Yeah, she used to be Jeff and I's neighbor on Emmons
Oh yeah,
Avenue.
yeah, 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 right. And this is the original Count Henry in front of City Hall. So
I mean, who says, "Hey, man, we're gonna hook this up. We're gonna drive through town"? I mean,
let's think about a Friday night in summer. Yeah, well,
was it a Friday night?
I don't know. Well, let's see. It says here. No, it was
I like
Monday.
details.
It was Monday,
was a
January
Monday.
26, 1981.
Okay. Well, they needed. Yeah. Anyway, it was a good news day.
There were lots of pictures about this crime.
No, I can't wait till you do a deep dive
I
and
think that'll
interview.
just be
I want
fun.
you to interview people.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
And all that information, most of that information, I did get from Dave Clark's article about
Nice.
about the.
We rely on Dave Clark's info a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good articles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody with this one?
The Parkside Apartment.
Yes. 125 North Chestnut Street. Look, that is before last
Before
week.
the storm damage from the tornado. Yeah. So, the Parkside Hotel was built at the corner of Chestnut and West 2nd Street. When I was talking about the Standard Station, they had people come to town and said, this is a happening town. We're going to put in this Standard gas station. The reasons is because they were building this hotel. So many people came to Kewanee on business, even though Kewanee was a small city. So what was going on in Kewanee in 1915, I don't know. But a lot of people found their way here. Kewanee leaders decided we need to have a grand hotel, and this is the spot that we're going to build it. When it was completed, it was a 4-story fireproof hotel, completed at the cost of $150,000.
Wow, that was a lot.
I know, and I wish I would have calculated what that would be now, but I forgot.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there wants to tell us. But they opened the doors October 7th, 1916.
Okay.
And they had special guests that they invited, architects and dignitaries. They had a dance. They had a feast. They had leg of lamb, beef tenderloin, duck, and chicken.
Oh my gosh.
It was a feast. George Worthington was the hotel manager when the Parkside opened. It employed around 36 people.
Okay.
They had elevator operators, bus boys, bellboys, janitors, housekeepers, all that. 1931, they thought we're going to build an addition onto the East End. That cost another $100,000.
Onto the East End.
That's what the newspaper said. I know.
I think it was the South.
Maybe it was the South.
I think it was the South.
Okay. Well, I gotta get my facts on this one. Okay.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. The hotel closed in May of 1946, sadly. And then it became the Hotel Kewanee around 1947.
Okay.
And I remember being in there, just the checkered floor, black and white checkered floor. They had a restaurant, a bar, you could play pool. And it closed in 2005 and was converted into apartments by the Housing Authority of Henry County. And I did find out an interesting fact that I was sharing with Lee and John the other day, that on October 29, 1964, Richard Nixon came to Kewanee and visited. He was raising funds for the Republican Party, and it was not a big enough space there at Parkside Hotel, so they moved it to Kewanee High School, and all the wait staff went with them and served the meal there for the fundraiser. Because Richard Nixon came to town in 1964.
And that would have been at the new Kewanee High School.
The new Kewanee High School.
So that was
1211
probably,
East 3rd.
then, they would have wanted to show that off too.
Yeah. So,
cool.
And so I like that it's, I haven't seen any of the apartments, and they're keeping it up, on the outside. Recently we had a storm and they're fixing it, but it's a beautiful, beautiful structure.
And as an aside, do you remember what was there before that?
I do, but I can't remember the name because it's one that you were researching.
Yes.
Hippert. Gint Hippert's dad's
Grandpa's
boot place. Boot
Yes.
store. Yeah.
Yes. On
Yeah.
the corner there, Gent Hippert. Well, if you have to watch the Prohibition episode,
He's one of our favorite prohibitionists.
He's one of our
He always
favorites.
had a nice chewy cigar.
yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
So yeah. So the okay, and then this picture we show here has the WKEI sign on the top,
And that's now in our museum if
that's
you
in our
visit us at
museum.
125 North Tremont. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's me too. Okay. Does anybody know what that is? Other than, it's just a piece of wood. I mean, what?
Go ahead.
Addie?
AK.
La Gondola.
It is La Gondola, but what was it before that?
It was Sandy's Restaurant. It was a Sandy's Restaurant drive-through. It was a company started in 1958 by 3 local guys, and they built their 100th store in their hometown in 1965 at 425 Tenney Street. So that's now where Gondola is, and
Yeah.
it was Sandy's from 65 until about 1972.
Yeah. I did not realize what the association with that wooden thing was.
Yeah, because
Until
if
I
you-
saw that picture. Yes, I can
That's
see
the
it now.
beams outside.
Yeah,
Right, right.
It's now inside.
Yeah, yeah.
I did not
Cool.
realize that.
So it was Sandy's until 1972, but before it became Hardee's, as you guys know, Sandy's switched over to Hardee's. They built a second Sandy's, and I did not know this, in the 600 block of North Main, which would have been Hardee's North, and I did not know that. So they pretty much opened a Sandy's North, and then here you go, Hardee's. I don't know what happened. I didn't dig all that deep into that.
Right.
So we had a Hardee's North and South, and I know those of us that had, we were in high school in the 80s. We cruised the 4 lanes. You did your laps from Hardee's to Hardee's, or Hardee's to Pizza Hut further out where New China is now. Anyway, it was an A&W restaurant in 1996. And then by April of 99, it was up for sale. And then Lisa and Tony Rashid bought it. And they returned, they brought back our gondola restaurant that we loved that used to be in another location in town.
Yeah.
Across from Walmart. And they've been there since 1999 as La Gondola.
Okay.
La Gondola. And I don't know when they did that makeover, but it was neat to see those beams.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you mean they were until semi-recently, they were covered.
They had been covered.
Yeah,
And
they
was just
were.
really
It was
cool
a
to
wall.
see.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love how they brought that back.
They really opened up the restaurant. It looked neat.
Anybody?
It's the Lou Little homestead.
It is. It is near and dear to my heart. The little log cabin on West South Street. So, this guy is Abner Little. And in 1837, Abner Little brought his family and was one of the pioneers and founded Wethersfield. Abner, being the oldest pioneer, was allowed to have first dibs on whatever land he wanted, and he chose spot would have been southwest of Wethersfield Commons, which is where the Wethersfield School is now, where the Blish Building is. And he chose 40 acres southwest of town. And in the first winter, 14 people stayed in the cabin. 14 people. And
Wow.
so I am also part of the Kewanee Preservation Society, and this is owned by the Kewanee Preservation Society. And your upper left picture is when we started restoring it in 2014. And then the other pictures are after that. And then we did put up a shelter house, I think 2 years ago.
That was that long ago? 10 years
2014,
ago?
yeah.
I did not know that. It just seemed like time kind of flew by.
Right,
Wow.
yeah. And if you're wondering, which many people are, what the heck is going on at the cabin, the chinking failed. And so it has to be rechinked. And so every time he goes to do it, it rains, and then it has to dry out again. And we found some bug damage, so that has to be mitigated and stuff like that.
Do you know why
so.
Abner Little chose that specific site in your research? Did he say?
Yeah, well, obviously it did not look like what it looks like now. And he owned from where East Street is, South Street.
Okay.
But it wasn't there. So he owned from about there to, there's a grove of trees south, and in the grove of trees there was water. And then there was a whole bunch of woods,
Lumber, sawmill.
yeah. And that brings up a good point. By the spring of 38, there was a sawmill here in town. So,
Because I had heard before some early people that came, they tried to, down in the valley there on Tenney Street, what block is that? Is that the
where
200
mill
block?
is,
Yeah, didn't they try to have a mill there and there wasn't enough water from that creek?
I think so.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
quite sure.
I
I
don't
know that there was a cabin there
Yeah.
right after that.
It's just amazing. How did it survive all those years?
Lou Little, who it was the last Little living on the land, and he just passed away a few years ago at age 100. Yeah, if you think about it, he probably knew Abner because that was his grandfather.
Wow.
Yeah, and he he knew he was into preservation when there was no preservation, and so all he knew to do was to side it. He just furred it out. That's what that top picture
So he
is.
covered it to
furring.
protect it. Okay.
And that it did it.
That was smart.
Yeah.
That was smart.
Yeah.
So when you guys uncovered it, were you like, oof, or it
Well,
was
it
exciting?
was yucky.
Were there things in it?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
darn.
yeah, but it was
Yeah.
trash and
Oh,
stuff like
okay.
that. I mean,
Okay.
it wasn't like packed to the gills. We could walk in, but there
No
was
treasures.
like remnants. No, there was there was nothing left in there.
Okay.
It had been open. So, yeah.
I'm always curious.
Yeah. So that was our last question. So does anybody else have any questions about anything they saw?
Comments about anything you saw?
Okay. Yeah. Kit.
I just have a comment.
Okay.
About that whole little trees up to the south.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's still a piece of those trees there.
Yeah.
So you can see the end of the property line.
Yeah.
So if you're at the little thing looking south,
Mhm.
you can still walk up there. There's like a old collar truck out there. I grew up on that property. Like we lived down by the hospital end. where
Okay.
the hospital
Yeah.
is now. And Lou actually helped me paint my bedroom when we moved into the house. And the thing I remember most about him is him talking to me about like who discovered America and how it was not Christopher Columbus. It was Americus Vespucci. And like I will never like forget that. You know, like those
Yeah.
kind of conversations.
Yeah.
Like, he was very interested in history. And
Yes.
Kewanee history and
Yes, he
talking
was.
about that.
Yeah, he.
That is
yeah,
cool.
and he wanted his legacy to live on. That was what his wish was, and so he had always imagined that couple acres that we have as a park-like setting. So that's what we went with. So yeah.
We have a lot of fun doing this. We hope that you guys had fun watching us and interacting.
Yeah.
And Landon, if you're at home, hope you
Oh
learned
yes.
something.
Hey, Landon.
Our friend, he was here earlier and
Yeah.
he had to leave. But I enjoy Kewanee history a lot, and it's just amazing the things that you find out and that you never knew. Just driving down the street, oh hey. So we do have a game that continues beyond today.
Yes. So, and you guys will be the first to partake if you choose to do so.
Because you're here tonight.
Because
in
you're here
person.
tonight. Woo. So, we'll have a handout by the door with some pictures on it, and there's 2 sides to the sheet, and there's 9 on one side and 10 on the other. Sorry, I didn't get that last one.
It's okay.
So you have to complete correctly 5 on each side.
It doesn't have to be 100% correct. Just,
Yeah.
at least 5
But,
on each.
just try.
Yeah.
So, half of it is just name the place, like what we did here. And then the other side is you have to go out and about Kewanee. You have to figure out the place, and then there's a question you have to answer that can only be found at that location. So, you just have to fill out the sheet.
And we tested it because I went out and tried to figure
Yes.
them out. So
Yes.
I was like, oh boy.
So,
It's not hard.
no, it's not.
It's fun. And
Yeah.
you can come in the museum and ask for help, I think. Or is that
I
not
don't know.
allowed?
I don't know.
We're open Thursdays and Saturdays 1 to 4. You can bring it in and show
sure.
us.
And there will be extra copies at the museum to pick up. They're due back October 1st, so you got plenty of time to do
if
it.
you want to be entered into the drawing for the grand prize.
There is a prize, and it perhaps maybe taco themed.
Might involve tacos.
Yeah.
Since we do podcasts for tacos.
Yes. So,
That's our thing.
and sorry, only local folks will be able to play the game because you have to answer the questions. So everybody, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching, and we do have some closing things. We want to thank everybody watching at home and everybody here in the live studio audience. This is our first live. Will there be another one? I don't know.
Oh, I
kinda had a freak out day.
I kind of. Yeah, I did for about a half hour. And
Okay.
Jeff's like, "You're fine." I'm like, "Okay, you're fine."
We are the bomb.
We are, yeah, yeah. I almost brought my flashlight, and my little lantern for when we
Yes.
tour places when it's
We always have
empty buildings, historical buildings,
and
but she
hand
said,
sanitizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to thank Susan and Kit for having us here,
And the Kewanee Public Library. Yeah.
and thank you, John.
And thank you, John. Couldn't do it without him, and he knows it.
He's the brains.
He's
but-
the brains behind this. Like he tells us, we're the talent.
But thanks for watching, and tune in next time.
Yeah.
See ya.
See you later.
Thanks for cruising with us today. We hope you enjoyed the show and you'll join us for our next cruise down Kewanee Memory Lane.